Hello and welcome to Casting Roles, a bunch of theater nerds who play Dungeons and Dragons, and this is the third episode of our Terminus short campaign as we play a little bit here before we start campaign 2. If you're liking the show, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you want to find us on social media, we're on Twitter at Casting Roles and on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Casting Roles ILM. Our videos are uploaded on YouTube every Friday. But let's go ahead and start the show. So agency members, in our last couple sessions, you were tasked with defeating Vecna and bringing an end to his corporate monopoly dreams and also trying to become a god. But in the midst of doing that, a hole was ripped in the planar verse and you were dragged into the astral sea to the city of Lux Aeterna, a mostly abandoned city now that traversal to the outer planes from the material plane has been ceased for the last 500 years. And you met with the librarian of the key or the main Temple of Light of Lux Aeterna, who told you that you were untethered to the material plane and could not return home until you had found some way to tether yourself. In the midst of trying to get more information, you were sucked away due to your untethered nature to your first stop in the planar realms, Celestia, the beautiful, lawful, good land of greatness and gold and beautiful scenery. There you came across most of the Olympians who were like feverishly sucking on prayers that were drifting across the Silver Sea. You briefly escaped from them upon meeting or making a trade with one of the menagerie members there. These arcane beings who trade in hopes and fears and dreams and prayers, made a deal with them that included a gift of a platinum lizard that promptly escaped from you and ran up the mountain. You chased after it, discovered a temple that was to the god Tyr, where one of his servants, an Empyrean, you helped them kind of free themselves from their long-held bondage here by providing them with prayers and fellowship. And then eventually made your way to Tyr's manse, where you freed and brought him back. And he informed you that the person on this plane who would be able to untether you would be the lord of the plane, but he couldn't remember his name. So you continued up the mountain with the lizard in tow, only to discover that the lizard all along was Bahamut. And after restoring his hoard to him for the most part, you were faced with the final challenge of correcting some kind of ancient wrong by bringing justice into the world, as is one of Bahamut's key tenets. After a brief kind of conversation among the group, you decided that the wrong that you wanted to correct was the fact that when Kiv was much younger, around the age of 10, he was undergoing these horrible research opportunities by a corporation within Terminus to imbue them with children with magical powers. And you are going to set those children free. And with his breath of power, Bahamut transported you back in time, and you all arrived within the bowels of this corporate scientific research station, and find that you are all 10 years old to match the age of Kiv. You still have all of your abilities and your items and everything, but you are all 10. So very quickly, let's just kind of go around. And what does a 10-year-old version of your character look like as we are here in this metal pipes everywhere, computer screens, the gentle sound of children talking and crying further within this chamber? What do we look like here? Danny, what does 10-year-old Danny look like?
So, is this like how we perceive ourselves as 10 years old, or like legitimately what we looked like when we were 10 years old?
You've been de-aged.
Okay. So the stuff probably doesn't work right now, right? So it'd be normal.
So your abilities are still present. So like, it's very odd for everyone else because that kind of holographic entity that's always around Danny is still present, but is much taller than Danny is at this moment. And Danny is a child.
Yeah, I think the hollow entity like shrinks down to like a little chibi anime, like little kids in anime where they have like the huge heads and the giant eyes. And it's just like a more cutesy, little cute outfit version of that.
Fantastic. Ronan, what does 10-year-old Ronan look like?
Like, have you seen the episode of TNG where there's the transporter accident and Picard gets de-aged?
Yes.
Yeah.
So very much like that, like a precocious young child, and like fair skinned, but of I'm trying to think. I would say you know how Spanish, like ethnically Spanish people kind of have a darker than like average complexion, but they're still definitely Caucasian. Like that's kind of where he's at.
Mediterranean. It's good.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Olive skin. That's what I'm going.
Yeah, olive. Yeah.
Sarah probably looks pretty close but she's gangly. So she's coordinated, but the red hair, the thin, not much of a figure. And definitely not as a 10-year-old, but it's just kind of like she's shrunk down and compressed more than she shrunk because she's probably a little tall for her age.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just awkward, and as a redhead, that very fair complexion. If you've ever seen the meme about the girl takes her thing off and their friend's like, behold, the beacons of Gondor have been lit. Something like that.
And for Kiv, this is the first time that you've been in this space, because you were, it was only a couple years after this moment when the work was complete and you were the only surviving child of the research that was done here. And so for you, in your 10-year-old body, there's also that body reads the score of your past in this moment. And there's probably a moment of feeling whatever you felt in this space back then, but you're not in the cage here. You're now free to walk around. What does Kiv look like as a 10-year-old?
Kiv was a very small, like tiny late bloomer as a 10-year-old. Complete opposite of what he is now. Like big muscle, strength guy. Kid was the late bloomer kid. So like smaller than all the other kids, scrawny. He's just awkward in the body.
Perfect.
If you watch Black Lady sketch show, then
yes,
you'll get that reference.
All right.
Awkward in the body. Just
so you all find yourself here, your vision clears, and you're in this kind of T-junction space. There's pathways that go off to your left and right and straight ahead. Currently kind of looking around, you don't see any security guards or anything like that. But anybody who wants to can give a perception check.
I will.
Perception. 28.
28.
19.
Okay. All right. So, Sarah, what you immediately notice and pick up on is you don't see anyone, but the reason why there's probably not constantly patrolling security in this space is you do see that thankfully you've been placed in such a way that you are out of view of it, but directly above you on the wall is a rotating security camera that is scanning the hall to the right, the center hall, and the hall to the left. And Bahamut has carefully placed you in a spot where right now you are not on camera.
And I do the kind of thing to point out the camera to everybody.
Pointing it out to everybody. Everyone sees the security camera above you.
Well then, what's the plan?
So am I a little guy with like full like armor?
Yeah, it shrunk to fit your body, but yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so we have all of our
man.
equipment. Just
You have all your equipment and skills. Your body is 10. Mhm.
Well, stealthing is not really my thing. Never been. Where I'd be at a disadvantage trying to stealth around this place, guys. Just
well, you're going to be the most
FYI.
familiar with it. So where should we head first?
Do I recall the layout of the halls and the direction on where to get?
Yeah, it's difficult to tell it right here because you don't have a lot to go on in terms of landmarks. This is just like a hallway. But if you were to identify any of the key spaces that you remember from the time you spent here, then you'd be able to build a map in your head.
Okay. Well, let's move up a bit and see if we can.
Idea. Figure out which direction we're going to go, and then I've got something we can do.
Okay. Guess we'll just go this direction and see what I can recognize based off my memory. As a Terminus
thing, if you are a thief with thieves tools, one of the skills that you probably have developed is the ability to hack systems, even at a basic level. So if you were to find a panel, you could potentially do something to the security system.
With the 19 perception, is there a panel nearby?
Yeah, there is a panel kind of off to the left. If you hug the wall, one of you could stay out of view of the camera for most of its arc. There would be a moment at the end of its arc where it would catch your sight. So you'd have probably 20 seconds or so to run that hack.
Sarah casts the cantrip light directly on the lens in the camera.
Ooh, so
okay.
it's a glare.
To overload it to give us enough time to get to the panel to hack.
Perfect. Sounds good. That'll give you a little bit more time. It could potentially alert somebody to an issue, but that gives you time. So the light flashes in the lens of the camera above you. This area now, kind of that dystopian metallic cyberpunky space with like running lights and not a ton of overhead lighting is suddenly lit up in a bright golden light, and you have a moment to go to the panel as the security camera is sweeping, but it is currently blind.
And I give you inspiration. My inspiration is you hear in your mind, you better not fuck this up or I'm gonna be so pissed.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna run to the
and I will give you guidance.
Okay, so you have a D12, D8. That's right,
I don't have full bar levels.
So D8 and then a D4 on the roll. Go ahead and make it's a sleight of hand check with your dexterity, but this is acting as a hacking check.
All right, I went ahead and rolled my advantage, so I'm gonna get a +5 to this roll.
I love the fact that the two medical people are also
thieves.
So that's a 35, Josh.
A 35. So you all watch as now, Ronan, what method of working with the security system do you do here? There is a way with a 35 that you could shut off the security system, but Ronan's smart enough to know that if the security system suddenly went dead, that would immediately alert anybody who's paying attention to the fact that there's something happening here.
I'm going to have it replay the last 10 minutes before we arrive.
Okay, good. So you kind of do a vampire clamp and loop the last 10 minutes, carefully cutting out the part where Sarah G blinds the camera with light. And so you can kind of see there's a display within the panel that's showing what the security system is seeing here. And you can kind of see that it's slowly rotating and it's running in a loop.
Can you possibly, can you maybe loop other stations from here?
I thought I did it for all of it. Is that just the one camera?
So that panel alone connects to this camera, but you can see in the panel, this is a substation. The main station is probably 2 hallways down, and you would be able to loop all of them from there. But you do get a map of other local camera spots, and so you can kind of tell you've got a map now in your head, Ronan, of like where the cameras are and what loops they're on.
Okay, I'm gonna just kind of mentally note where the cameras are, and I'm gonna ask Kiv, because you said I've got a map laid out.
So the kind of the way it's set up is this station shows the other like 3 or 4 stations around it. So you don't get a picture of the full security system, but just kind of the connecting ports to this one. So you've probably got 3 or 4 halls worth of space here in this much larger complex.
I'm gonna ask Kiv if any of this looks familiar, like any of the rooms, like as far as the security layout goes.
Kiv, what you notice is that most of this doesn't look incredibly familiar, but to the left and then up a junction, there is a room there that you remember quite distinctly. It's called the playroom, which doesn't, in your memory, have the same joyful connotation as its name.
Yeah. So I would assume this is where perhaps they have the kids in holding, or
the playroom was where they had the kids test out the powers that they were given, and there was often sometimes a bloody process.
Okay, so from where we are now, I think we could head to the playroom, see if there's any other test subjects that are currently there.
Okay. With Ronan's guidance, you guys will be able to dodge any surveillance between here and there because it's within the range of this camera network. But that doesn't mean that if there is roving security that they wouldn't spot you. So are you guys moving stealthily? How are you wanting to approach this?
I think I can handle security if we come upon anyone. So I think we should just move.
Okay.
We do that?
All right, so you guys make your way down the hallway. Your feet kind of, your boots tapping against the metallic floors, and there's just kind of blue lights pulsing down the hall along places. You leave behind the glow of the light that Sarah G cast in the space. And then you arrive at another junction here, kind of a 4-way split, going in, one continuing to go straight, the other one's breaking off, and you take the right-hand turn there, and you travel down this hallway a little bit, and you get to a doorway that is kind of like one of those double sliding glass doors, and on alongside there's a placard on it that says playroom to get in, but there's a key card reader here to access this chamber.
Josh, I would have dropped the light as soon as the loop was done so that if somebody wanders down the hall, they're not going, oh hell.
Fantastic.
Do only like the upper people have key cards?
Generally, yes. That's how it would work. Does anyone think they can hack this keycard system?
I look at Ronan, given he just like hacked into the panel.
I could give it a try.
This would have a very high DC, but you are more than welcome to try, Ronan.
If not, I can just smash it.
I'm also a rogue. I give Ronan assistance.
Okay.
As well as guidance again.
You can do that.
All right, Josh, what I would like to try to do is, like, how sturdy does the door look?
It's a very sturdy. It's kind of a double-plated steel. Kind of think like a starship, like door system, right?
Okay. In that case, what I would like to try to do is appraise the system. And if I don't think that I'm going to be able to just get it to open on its own, I would like to at least disable the alarm system to it.
Okay. So go ahead and make it'd be an intelligence check, but you are free to use.
Can I make an investigation?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
It's a 28.
28. So kind of prying apart the panel here, there's a 2-tiered way that the panel works. first it verifies the identity of the card holder, and then but before it opens the door, it disables the alarm. So in order to open the door, the alarm has to be disabled, but it would be 2 different hacking maneuvers in order to do that. It's a branching system.
All right, I'm gonna try to disable the alarm first.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and make a check.
And I assist on that as well.
So you have advantage and then a D4.
Okay.
Ooh, good roll.
Let's roll the same thing twice.
Yep, that you did.
So that is a 24.
24. So the alarm deactivates here for this door, but the door isn't open.
Okay. Now I'm gonna try to open the door.
Okay, cool. You can try that.
Are you still assisting, Ronan?
Yes.
Or Sarah, yeah. You're Ronan.
Yes.
All right, sorry.
2 Ronins.
Okay, so that is a 29.
29. So as you're kind of maneuvering the system, there's a couple moments where you feel like it's not going to go through. This high level, probably, top level research R&D zone of this research hub is very well guarded. But at the last moment, you're able to kind of piece things together, and the door like hisses and slits apart. And
Nice.
You see for the first time the playroom. It is a large kind of octagonal chamber. There's 2 exits leading out of here other than the one that you came in. Kiv, you recognize that one leads to the dormitory space where the children were kept. The other one leads to the research spaces where you would be taken and administered treatments. But in this chamber, beautiful murals of rainbows and clouds dot the surrounding area. There are boxes of toys within this space, but standing at the far kind of central space here, you see a mechanical entity currently deactivated, that has blades on its arms, like a shield. And Kiv, you would know that this is like the test dummy that you all faced off against when you were testing out your skills.
If, what is that?
That's the test machine there. I'm gonna head straight towards the dormitory area.
Kiv,
I'm busting these.
what would the kids have called the dummy?
That is
Thaddeus?
good question. Kids would have called the dummy Cranky.
Cranky?
Just
Oh, that's
Cranky.
so good.
honestly.
Cranky the
little-
test dummy.
Yeah.
All right. So Kiv, you walk in the chamber.
My first thought is to head straight towards the dormitory. I want to bust the kids out and just smash heads, fight our way out of here.
Okay. So Kiv, you walk into the chamber. Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Oh man. Just because of past trauma.
Yeah, you're in the bad kind of therapy right now.
This is like Stranger
Yeah.
Things. We're Stranger
they
Things
throw you
zone.
It is like Stranger
Yeah.
Things. I like it.
Okay, a 19.
A 19. So you're not paralyzed by it, Kiv, but you, as was explained in Lex Aeterna, you guys are not just untethered to space like the material plane. You're also untethered in time. And so there's a moment stepping into this chamber, Kiv, in a younger body where you have a flashback to a particular time that you've interacted with Cranky. What would be a memorable testing time with Cranky, the battle droid?
Just all the time, like all the near misses where, he would come at you with his blade saw and just barely, chop off a limb, or, some kids came back with horrible scars where they were stitched up from, Cranky not being able to dodge Cranky in enough time, or those types of things, you know.
All right. So you all kind of watch Kiv for a moment, pause in reflection in this space, which is just enough time for you to see the light that's on the front of Cranky begin to blink as it is activating by presence.
Immediately, my first thought is to call out my echo, just self-preservation and defense.
So your echo materializes in the space.
Yep. And just sort of wait, see if it moves or
I cast Spirit Guardians.
Okay.
if it reacts.
What are Sarah's spirit guardians look like?
At this age, it would be other kids from the orphanage, the ones that you could trust.
Nice. So these spectral golden, are you doing necrotic or radiant?
Radiant.
Radiant. So these golden kids running around, hop skipping, jumping, playing ball, running around to protect Sarah G. Anybody else doing anything to prepare for the potential awakening of Cranky?
I'm just gonna train a spell on it if it moves, and I'm like beside Kiv, like closer than he thinks I would be, and I'm like, we're gonna get you through this, okay? And if you need to run, we'll run. If we need to fight, we'll fight. But you're not doing it alone.
All right. So in this moment, Kiv, you've seen Cranky activate many times when children were put into this chamber. And the blinking light is about to go into the affirmative. Because it's Kiv and because it's his memory space, Kiv gets an action before Cranky. What would you like to do, Kiv?
I'll get my level. I'm gonna just step up side by side with my shadow and take swings at it. So I want to disable it before he even gets a chance. It's almost like a therapeutic thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like wailing on the guy before it fully activates, hoping to chop it down.
All right. You've got 3 attacks with advantage because Cranky is currently immobilized.
With advantage.
I was gonna say, Josh, before started, was there any thing else in the room that I could potentially hide behind?
Yeah, so there are large toy chests. There is a whole table where there's a recreation of the speed trains that run around Terminus. So it's like a miniature train yard, but with high speed trains. Like a table for that you could hide underneath. There is at the kind of on the left-hand side of the chamber before one of the doors, a space where a wall comes out, and you probably think that maybe in a more peaceful world they would serve like lunch here and kids could sit at it like a little bar. So there's spaces for you to hide. You can go ahead and hide if you like.
I would like to do that.
All right.
So it's a 19, a 23, and a 15.
The 23 hits.
The 19 does not hit.
The 19 does not hit.
That's cray. Okay.
Cranky, not pushover.
The 16
Okay,
to
so-
hide, Josh.
16 to hide. Okay.
Didn't I get? So that's 12 plus 5. Okay. So 17.
17 points of damage. Good. All right.
Yep.
So then Cranky, then as this strike goes through, the other 2 strikes kind of glide off of its armor. But the third strike slashes across its metallic chest piece at the front. And then the red light that was blinking kind of in its space solidifies to a blue and it looks up. I need everybody to roll initiative.
Ooh, here we go.
All right. So looking at the initiative pace, Ronan, you go first.
Yeah, since I am hiding behind.
Let's check to see. Yes, you are hidden.
Yeah, I would like to pop out, shoot with my hand crossbow at him, and then duck back in and hide again.
Fantastic. You have advantage on the attack because it doesn't know you're there.
27 to hit.
That hits.
And 4 damage at first, and then sneak attack. So 29 points of damage.
29 points of damage. Nice. So you hit and then duck back down behind the thing. Go ahead and give another stealth check for your hide there.
21.
21. Okay. All right. So as Cranky comes online, you all see that blue light in his chest begins to glow, and this energy radiates out in front of him. Kiv, you remember, you're not exactly sure what this did. You just knew that certain children that were being manipulated by the magic struggled within that zone of energy that's washing out from Cranky. But Cranky is going to move to the person who definitely just attacked him. Let's see.
Is that within 15 feet of me?
What Cranky's moving. So I figured, so I know Danny and Kiv moved in, Ronan moved off to the side. I figured you were kind of staying a little bit further back, Sarah.
I wasn't too far back because part of it with activating the spell is that it's got a 15-foot range if anything comes into it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
this chamber is probably only 30 feet. So as long as we could say you're within 15 feet of Kiv. So what's the saving throw for Spirit Guardians?
It is wisdom.
Wisdom. What level did you cast the spell at?
Normal level.
So it's third.
It is scrolling back and forth between my spell page and my others. Spirit Guardians is third.
Third level. Okay, cool. All right. So
and
he
when it hits
fails,
the area,
so
his speed is cut in half.
Yeah. So he does take damage. You can go ahead and roll your damage for Spirit Guardians. As he's going to charge in here, and he's going to
All sixes. 18.
all sixes. Nice. 18 points damage. So you feel as he moves into the space, your Spirit Guardians start to flicker and then fade. The spell isn't gone, it's just currently not active. Like, he takes the damage as he enters in, but then whatever that field of energy that's pouring out from the front of him hits you, you feel the magic of that spell vanish. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw, Sarah. And then he's going to make 2 attacks at you, Kiv. First one misses. The second one, that's probably going to miss too. That's a 18 to hit, Kiv.
It beats it.
Oh, that is it. Okay, cool. So Kiv, you take
27 on the saving throw.
Okay, you're good. You take half of damage on something I'm going to roll in just a second. Kiv, you take 18 points of bludgeoning damage as one of his punches out at you with his fist and doesn't hit you with the vibrating weapon there. Sarah, you take 9 points of psychic damage, and you feel for a moment as if some of the magical essence within you is about to be burned away, but you manage to hold on to it. You get the sense that standing in front of him, this thing does additional damage to spellcasters that remain within this zone of energy pouring out of the front of him. All right, that is the end of Cranky's turn. Sarah, that goes to you.
I'm gonna counter around behind him.
Perfect. Yeah. So you feel the kind of you moving out of the way. Your magical essence comes back, and your Spirit Guardians also return.
Okay. Means when he starts his next turn, he'll take more damage.
Yep.
Do I get flanking with Kiv?
Yes, you would have flanking with Kiv.
Okay. I'm going to hit him with my baton because it's the only physical. Now, actually, wait. Because that's concentration. So if I do something that's not concentration, inflict wounds.
Fantastic. That's a spell attack roll, touch.
Yep.
Yep. Go ahead and roll. Is that a touch?
And I get plus
Is
12
this touch?
Is
to
that
a
touch?
19. I am rolling great.
Oh,
touch.
it's touch. You have advantage on the roll.
Yeah,
you're
well,
flanking,
I rolled
yeah.
a natural 19 and I have plus 12. So.
Perfect. Yeah, that'll hit. Yep. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Nice.
That is necrotic damage.
That is necrotic damage,
Okay,
and
he
that
is-
is 3d10.
He is not immune to that.
10. Oh my. Lightning glass die. And I roll like crap on this, a 3, a 1, and a 4. So that's a total of 8 damage from 3d10.
Oh no, 8 damage. I think that happened last time you rolled inflict wounds.
Better than nothing.
All right. That ends Sarah's turn. Kiv, that takes us back to you as Cranky has punched you and you remember the feeling of this fist quite well.
Retaliation. I'm gonna attack with my shadow as well. Oh wait. It's a normal roll, right? Not advantage.
You have advantage because Sarah is flanking.
Oh, yeah. That is a 30 to hit.
30 to hit. That hits.
And I'm just gonna roll all 3 really
I would have
quick.
gotten sneak attack damage because it's a spell, right?
No, that's I think the way sneak attack says it says only
From weapon
attacks. Yeah.
30 to hit, 28 to hit, and get out of here.
It's a slight. If I could change Arcane Trickster, I would allow them to have sneak attack on touch spells.
True. That would be a good tweak.
I want to cast smite.
And a 20 to
Smite
hit.
attack.
20 is his armor class. You hit.
Ooh, so all 3 make contact.
All 3
right?
hit. Go ahead and roll your damage, and don't forget roll your damage, and then don't forget your D8 for each of those as well.
Okay, so that's 18 damage. 11 damage. It's 29, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing's in the way. The little damage calculator's in the way. I can't click the... Okay, and then 14 damage.
Okay, so that's
And then
45 or 43 points of damage. Nice.
that's a D8 for each of them.
Yes.
So I'll just roll 3d8. Oh, just 3. Another 10.
It's nice. 55 points of damage in one round from
53.
Kid. 53 points of damage. Sorry,
Let's
from Kid in
go.
one round. Nice.
The muscle.
Fantastic. That takes us to Danny. At the start of your turn, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw because you're in the cone.
Not the cone.
The cone.
Got this, Danny.
The cone.
Cone of
The
shame.
cone of shame.
Don't put the cone on the cat, boy, Josh. Rude. 21.
That beats the saving throw. So you take what is that? 10 points of psychic damage, and your one of your spell slots is not ripped away from you.
Nice.
But you cannot currently. You do not have access to your magic here.
Okay. Can I move out of this cone?
Yeah, you can.
To the side.
You can move over to the other side, and then you feel kind of as you're moving about 10 feet or so, the feeling fades. And right now, Kiv is the only person currently in the cone.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay kind of like if Sarah's on the other side of it, I'm flanked on like the other quadrant. That way it can only turn to one of us at a time.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna cast I'm gonna cast Shatter on it.
Okay, it's tall enough that if you aim towards the ceiling, you could just get it and not hit anybody else.
It
Yeah.
has to make con 17
Con.
check.
It has pretty good con. Let's see. 17.
So meets it, beats it?
No.
So
You
it
said
does-
that the DC was 17.
the DC is 17.
Okay, that is 23. So he'll take half damage.
Okay. Takes
So
half of
what
16.
level spell is that?
I only cast it at 3rd level.
3rd level. Okay, cool.
So I cast it 1 up.
That goes through. Okay, so 16 points of damage. Good. All right, cool. Fantastic. All right.
And then I'll give Kiv inspiration.
What does Danny's inspiration look
So
like?
Danny can talk to everyone psychically in his head. That's one of his warlock things. So he just goes, all right, therapy's really expensive, so you should really like soak this all up. People would pay a lot of money for this.
People kind of take that to heart.
He's got the shittiest inspiration ever. Makes me laugh.
All right, that takes us back up to the top.
But he's not wrong.
No, not wrong at all.
You're like, he's right.
All right, that takes us back up to the top. Ronan.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time, but I'm gonna use a walloping arrow.
Okay, that's what kind of save is that for him?
You gotta make a DC 10 strength saving throw.
I will let you know that his strength save is plus 15.
Yeah,
but if he rolls a 1.
If he rolls a 1, that is 34.
That is your
Okay.
You had to try.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it. Yeah, it's good to try.
I'm just imagining it like plinking off of him, like plink.
It'll still do the damage. It's just
Yeah. So I still got advantage, right?
You have advantage on the attack roll because you're hidden, but you would get sneak attack either way because he's in range of your allies.
Okay, so that was 16 plus 8. So that was a 22 to hit.
Yep, 22 hits.
Ooh, there we go. 9 damage plus sneak attack. So 43 points of damage.
43 points of damage. Nice. He's like, you can kind of see some of the circuitry on his joints begin to like creak and spark a little bit. And he's looking a little rough.
That was 18 to duck back and hide again.
Nice. 18. Let me roll his perception when you do that. Okay. All right. So that takes us to him.
He takes damage at the start of his turn.
Yes. Go ahead and roll. He has a saving throw for it. Nope. That's a natural one on the saving throw. Yeah.
16.
16 points of damage. Nice. All right. And Sarah, while you're standing behind him, you feel that cone of energy swooshes around him and is now pointing directly behind as you see his entire torso like shifts around. His head is still facing Kiv. His arms are now just where his left arm was. It's now his right arm. And that anti-magic cone is now pointing directly at you. I need you to make a DC 18 wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom. Plus 9.
Ooh, that's a lot of 6s.
Rolled a 13, so that's a 22.
That beats it, which is really good because on 66 I rolled 3 6s and 2 5, or 3 6s and 3 5s. so that's 18, 27. So half of that would be 3 6s is 18, 28. 33, so half of it was 17 points of damage. So you take 17 psychic damage and your spells are not ripped away from you. But your the magical guardians does crackle out again. You're still concentrating on it. It still exists. Yep. It's just not existing in the animagic field. And he's going to... Who did the most damage to him last turn? Kiv, yeah. So he's gonna unload on you, Kiv. 2 attacks on Kiv. The first one will hit. That's a 27. The second one, that's a natural 20.
Jeez.
So
thanks for the dice, Rob.
On the on the 27, so that is 21 points of damage. And then, that's a very, very low rolls on the natural 20.
Thanks for the dice, Rob.
16. 23 points of damage. So I did 2 points more damage with the natural 20 than I did with the other roll. Great, perfect. 23 points damage.
And then
23, yeah.
It's 23 total.
No. Total would be 43 points of damage.
Okay, that's the 21 and then... Okay.
23, yep. All right, as he slams you with one and then the vibrating claw kind of scrapes up your armor on the other side, but bites through it a little bit. All right, that takes us to Sarah.
I slide along him 90 degrees, so I'm out of the cone, and I'm getting flanking with Danny.
Danny, were you within 5 feet of the creature?
I mean, I'm casting Shatter, so I think I can't be that close up on him.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Just regular
So
attack.
it's regular,
I
but
mean-
you'll still get sneak attack if you hit because of Kiv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I need to because it's my baton, which does 1d4 bludgeoning. But that's okay because that's not gonna hit. That's a 6 + 5. So
Oh no, that
ain't
misses.
doing
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
It just clanks off of.
Yeah. It's like
Mhm.
ding. Anything with your bonus action, Sarah?
Dodge.
Okay, you take the dodge action. All right, that takes us to Kiv.
Okay, so I'm trying to get like a layout of the battlefield in my head, but I'll do that later. I'll worry about that probably later.
Okay.
I'm just gonna do my normal 3 attacks.
Okay.
Oh, are we still flanking?
You
You
can
slide around.
You can slide around to get flanking with Sarah, and stay within his attack range.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna slide around, get advantage on these rolls, because that's how I roll. That was not with advantage for some reason. Hold on. This is hard to. All right. 27 to hit.
That hits.
Sorry. Where is she? 24 to hit.
That hits.
And a 26 to hit. I love when all 3 hit.
All 3 hit. So you get full damage and then 3d8 on top.
15 damage. 11 damage. And then another 11 damage. So that's 37. And then 3d8, which is another 11 damage. So 48 damage total.
So with 40, oh no, it's blurry. With 46 hit points,
Let's go.
how does Kiv deal with Mr. Cranky?
I think Kiv is just gonna, between him and his echo, it's gonna take like huge over the head, like heaving, like chopping the axe wood and just like split him in half, just like halfway down the robot, just split with my crystal great sword.
And the lightning laser sword of energy slices through, and there's a burst of radiant energy as this team up of the 2 Kivs there, one kind of shadowy of the other, destroying a source of turmoil for you as a child with the very tools that they gave you in this moment. But there's as the beast kind of, or the mechanical entity is cut in half and falls to either side, a quiet kind of descends across the chamber. But you do hear like a slight beeping sound in the security system, like it has picked up on a disturbance.
Like we gotta move. Let's go to the dorm, see if we can
Sounds
free these
good.
kids.
Okay, cool. So you head towards the dorm entrance door. The doors slide open because you already used a security pass to get into this section. So you pass through into the first chamber, and here is kind of a lounge area. There are not very comfortable chairs. There's a table for eating. There are kind of sterile white walls and sterile white furniture. kind of marbly white floors, you leaving the metallic zones behind, but this is not a warm or comforting zone here. But you kind of are moving through the space. Off to the left, there's a doorway that goes into a hall where Kiv, that's the administrative complex where Professor Injury spent his time. He was the main scientist who headed up the experimentation on the children. So that's to the left. To the right, going through another doorway, is to the dormitories where the children would be sleeping.
So I could either take out the main scientist or free the kids. I think I'm gonna direct the group towards the kids, see if we can save as many of them as
Can I
possible.
roll insight on him hesitating at
Go
that
ahead.
door?
Yep.
Okay. I got a nat 20.
So
Wow.
Kiv is not incredibly good at hiding his emotions. What would Danny be reading on Kiv's face?
I feel like I'm.
well,
you go ahead.
yeah, Kiv,
You're good.
yeah.
Yeah, what would Kiv say?
There's definitely a moment of I guess like a bloodlust, for lack of a better term, where he's like, oh, this is my opportunity to just, literally rip this guy in half, or this person in half. I don't know if it's a guy or not.
Professor Injury is a man.
Okay,
Of course.
this person in half, or
Just kidding.
do I do the right thing and try to preserve as much of the innocence of these kids as possible by helping them to escape and somehow getting themselves out to a normal life. So
Danny, the translation there for you, because not knowing enough about Kiv's backstory, is kind of like you're reading on the face of Kiv, the face that you have probably delivered before when at the Streamer Awards and your main competitor won the award and you did not.
Motherfucker. Only because they hot tub stream that fucking. Some of us have dignity.
The name was Dell Belfine.
Oh, damn.
Sorry.
I hate her so
Remind me
much.
to give y'all a dignity thing after the stream is over.
I sidle up to Kiv. Danny's been like really different when we've been in here, just like kind of quiet and not complaining like he normally is. And he
Strange.
like puts his hand on your shoulder in like a weird comforting kind of way. And he's like, if you want to split up, if there's two things, we can do them both. There's four of us. You've got more hands you've got more hands than you did.
Yeah, it probably takes a minute for Kiv to really register the fact that like Danny's being a bit insightful and not centering themselves in the situation like normal. And I'll give Danny like a little nod. And hopefully they'll maybe set up a situation that Kiv can live with when they walk away from this whole encounter.
I point to that door and I'm like, you want me to handle it?
If you think you can.
I crack my fingers. And I'm like, you got it. And yeah, I'll stroll that way while they go the other way.
Okay, so our
You want
Kiv.
back up, Danny?
No, I got it.
So Danny is heading towards the dorm or towards Dr.
I'm towards
Injury.
I'm going towards the doctor.
Okay, Kiv, where would you go knowing that Danny is comfortable with the split?
Towards the dorms. I'm gonna see
Interesting choice.
and get these kids out here.
Yeah, I'll motion for I think I'll motion for Sarah to come with me.
Okay.
And they may need you to open the dorms.
So
Ronan.
So Sarah and Ronan and Danny, or Sarah, Ronan, and Kiv head towards the dorms. Danny heading towards Professor
Danny-
Injuries.
I think me and Sarah will go together.
Okay, good. So
Just in case I need a little backup.
Good. So Sarah and Danny heading towards Dr. Injuries.
Yeah. If she's cool with it,
dormitory.
I like.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I
sense
can
it on
go
you
up
where
and-
I'm like,
You
Come on,
have to
Sarah.
bloody the bully's nose, otherwise they keep bullying.
Yeah.
mm,
Now, Kiv, you could also warn Danny in the moment that Dr. Injury was always in the company of Mr. Bigglesworth, which is
Yeah.
his cat. But Dr. Injury's cat, Mr. Bigglesworth, is a automaton defense cat. It has a laser tail like cannon system.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give that warning. Just watch out
Alright.
for the cat.
uh,
lot more
I'll-
dangerous.
And Danny, you'd be
Jeez.
familiar with the model. It's a Whisper Core model.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. So our team splits. Let's see which way we go first.
Never split the party.
Never split
We're
the party.
splitting
I love splitting
okay.
the party.
So we first follow Kiv and Ronan as they go towards the dormitories. The door opens up and there's a sign above the door that says dormitories. But Ronan, what you notice as you walk into this chamber is the moment you leave behind the sterile white chamber of the kind of the living quarters and you pass into the dormitories, you immediately hear like the sound of sleeping children. There's a couple sniffles in the darkness. But you are back on metallic surfaces and there's just a row of barred wall heading off into the distance. And there are cell doors. It very much resembles a prisons system rather than an actual dormitory. And there are, what you can probably tell are 6 chambers on either side. So a total of 12 cell chambers.
Okay, I'm gonna immediately find a way to unlock the chambers. And
Wait, 1 sec. Hold on. Before you unlock all the chambers, I want to walk through really quickly and see if I find where my younger self may be.
Okay.
Am I in this little dorm area, or
So
am I occupying the body of the young me? So I am like, it's the future me in the body of the young me. So I'm outside of the dorm.
so
Time travel. Time travel.
Kiv, so Kiv, you hold Ronan back for a moment and you make your way down the hallway. Off to one side, you see Azrael, kind of the young tiefling boy who was a gifted pyromancer. A couple chambers down from there, you see Cleffy, kind of a bird folk parrot looking female who was gifted with kind of storm magical and control. And then you know that you were closest because you were often the most difficult to the chamber at the back, where occasionally security guards would kind of pass through that chamber so they could look through into the dormitory and make sure everything was safe. You're closest to that security hall. Ronan, as you're standing next to the door, that security alarm is going off, and you can tell that the speed of the alarm is getting faster. Like somebody should have shut it down already. And the fact that it's not shut down is a sign that maybe there's a concern. You get the sense that probably in the next 5-10 minutes, you're going to be, there's going to be security swarming into this space. All right, Kiv, you get to the last chamber down at the end, and curled up on the spare cot, scratchy wool blanket over him, you see a reflection of yourself asleep.
Still asleep?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give the thumbs up to go ahead and unlock the cells if we can. But I'm going to leave my young self here.
Okay. So this is cell 11. Ronan, when you get into the system, you can choose which doors to unlock, 1 through 12. So it's going to require a series of 3 rolls. First, to break the system, second, to unlock the doors, and third, to direct which doors to unlock.
okay.
Let's go.
The DC lowers with each success. So the first check of unlocking and breaking into the system is the hardest check.
All right. rolling for the first one. The 18.
18 just makes it. So the system unlocks.
All right. Second one.
Now you're unlocking doors.
26.
That works. So you hear the click. Now, Kiv has directed you not to open cell block 11. Does Ronan keep all of the doors? Does he keep 11 locked?
Can I make a wisdom check to see whether we should be freeing his past self or not?
Sure, you can make a wisdom check.
It's a 17.
As difficult as a proposition as it may be, if what Bahamut has said is true, you are correcting a past wrong. If Kiv is freed along with all of the other children here, then the Kiv that you know would cease to exist.
The question I'm running into is, I don't want this to be worse for Kiv than what his past trauma already was. Like, if he becomes the sole remaining test subject, is he's going to like go through like 6 new flavors of hell?
And Kiv hasn't told you anything about his time as a test subject, so you're not sure.
All right, I'm not going to unlock it then.
Okay, so you leave 11 locked. So the others are unlocked. One final roll, and this is just to open the doors.
18 again.
18. So you hear the slow like unlock and the doors open, all except 11. So Kiv, you're kind of looking around and seeing the other chambers unlock, but the one here in front of yourself remains closed. We're going to cut for a moment. Go ahead, Kiv. Yeah.
I'm just going to go through and kind of like quietly gather all the kids together and point them towards Ronan to get them out of the building.
Okay. Azrael kind of blinkily kind of wakes up. Kiv, what are you doing, Kiv? How did you get the doors open?
It's okay. Just we have to be quiet. We have to move fast. Okay.
Oh, okay. What if Professor Injury? What about Mr. Cranky?
You don't have to worry about Mr. Cranky. I don't think he'll be working anytime soon.
Oh, okay. He kind of goes back and grabs a small stuffed animal in his cot and a small bag of belongings, and the other children kind of all begin to do that as well. Let me see if any of them are high enough in perception to notice. It's block 11. Nope. They're all sleepy and kind of gathering their things. They make their way to you, Ronan, and you see a smattering of a tiefling, a half elf. There's a half orc, the Aarakocra parrot. Human children, all of which are dressed in clothes that are, very much like white lab material. But they all look like they are tired and have been woken up in the middle of the night, and they come up to you. Where did you come from?
I was just separate the whole time.
Oh, and you managed to get away. Is it going to be safe to get out of here?
As safe as we can make it.
Okay. All right. I guess lead the way then.
And I am going to make a can I make a deception check?
Yeah.
So that they all feel at ease.
Yep. Go ahead.
And aren't gonna panic anytime soon.
Please make a dad check if you would.
Yeah, basically.
Make a dad check.
It's like a brother check. This is another 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a 30.
A 30. Wow. That's I rolled a 19, but they're children. So all right. Yeah, they are calmly following this confident older. They're about the same age, but they probably assume that you're older based on your confidence.
I'm wearing a doctor's coat.
Yeah. Out of the hallway.
Kid-sized doctor's coat.
Meanwhile, in the the other chamber, Sarah and Danny, you exit out of the living quarters and you find yourself in a hallway that is like beautifully apportioned. The walls are lined with like a rusty, reddish gold granite that has golden veins running through it. There's beautiful lighting up here. You can tell as the administrative suite, they did not spare any expense for themselves. And you are passing by a couple of different chambers here. Each of them has words outside. There's like records. There is lab results. There is engineering, and then the last room on the right says Professor Injury.
Are we stealthing or are we moving with speed?
That is the question, isn't it? We don't have a lot of time.
Speed until we get there and then stealth?
Yeah, let's speed until we get up upon the door.
You get to the door and the door is closed and locked.
I pick the lock.
Okay, there's a panel next to it. You pop the panel off. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Do you want inspiration?
No, because I just rolled a 24.
Well, there you go.
All right. So the door unlocks and slides open, and does it's not going to hit you. 18 doesn't hit Sarah, right?
No.
Okay. As you see this like thing dart out of the chamber and leap out and lands in the hallway, and you see this articulating quadrupedal. It doesn't look like a cat, but it definitely feels like a feline creature. As this is Mr. Bigglesworth is in the hallway here. And inside the chamber, you see a tall man with like balding crown of hair, but then a halo of long, scraggly hair down to the sides, like a pencil thin mustache, putting on his glasses, and he looks out and he says, I thought that the security alarm was not a false alarm. And he's kind of reaching for something on his desk. You have a moment here, Sarah, Danny, to act.
All right, Sarah.
Flame strike. Is that a saving throw or is that a
60 feet, 10-foot radius, 40 feet high, 46 fire, and 46 radiant. Dex save.
Dex save.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so Dr. Injury is not very dexterous. Let's see.
Who would have thought?
He needs to roll a 20.
I rolled an 18 on the die, but he has -1 to dexterity. So that's a 17. So Dr. Injury takes full damage from Flame Strike.
46 and 46.
As what you see that he's reaching for is a tablet that's probably connected to the, so he could alert the security.
Emergency button.
Yeah.
Just the flame strike, because it is a 10-foot wide thing, melt the pad.
It melts most of what's in his bedroom, probably. His bedroom, this is like ship quarters. So the chamber's probably only 15 feet deep.
It's gonna be a silhouette of him at the end of it, like of unburnt, like.
Yeah. Does he seem to survive that?
Oh, you don't know how much damage it's done yet.
Okay. That's true.
It does 28.
28.
Yeah.
So what does Sarah's flame strike look like?
Incredible.
Flame.
Yeah, this column of fire erupts.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. This column of fire erupts. You can roll damage on Spirit Guardians as well, because Dr. Bigglesworth or Mr. Bigglesworth failed his save on your Spirit Guardians.
Nice.
So Danny, you see this like light this column of fire engulf most of the chamber, and a hot wind blows back into the hallway. Sarah's hair just like exploding behind her in the casting of this spell. And when
12 to Mr. Bigglesworth.
12 to Mr. Bigglesworth. When it clears, there's no sign of Dr. Injury in the chamber.
Wow.
Mr.
Is there
Bigglesworth.
dust?
No. Dr. Injury had 8 hit points.
I turn to the cat and I'm gonna try to jargon it
Okay.
in the sense that I'm like, user override. Your old user has passed, so you pass to the new authorization.
All right, so that will take a. So we're not playing so D&D. The best thing would be a Arcana check.
Okay.
I throw a guidance.
You have a
Thank
D4. Yep.
Ooh, do I even need it? But I'm gonna roll it too. That's a. Oh wait. I got a 30, bitch, for my technical jargon. I want to say, here's the thing. Danny kind of puts on this like Kimbo-ish, like doesn't care kind of stupid thing. You see him go full tech nerd. Like the glasses, the manual, like the binary, like he's saying words that like it is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, Sarah
at this point realizes that Danny has built his own drones.
Yeah, Danny, you're hearing Sarah speak, but Danny is speaking computer code. And so, Danny, you successfully override the user inputs for Mr. Bibblesworth. Mr. Bibblesworth? What is it? Mr. Bibblesworth? Mr. Bigglesworth. And you have a familiar that you can assign to one of your party members if you like.
Excellent. Come on, Mr. B. You're going to make a fine addition.
All right.
And I do want to go, Sarah, let's go in there and see if we can wipe any kids we can.
Okay. There's the chamber itself is mostly disintegrated. Okay.
Is there any like computery kind of thing we can access?
No, the only thing that you saw in the chamber was the pad that he probably used to access most of the things, and it is melted and destroyed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, I like extra crack it in half.
Room or whatever.
Okay, you can
throw a grenade in there or something.
Sure. So the lab results room, you open it up. It's a bank of servers where they're probably storing the lab results and test results from their subjects.
Don't mind if I do. Eldritch Blast. Pew, 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 pew.
Okay. It takes you.
It's like a video game.
Takes you about a minute to blast through all of the servers, but they now all have a gaping hole in them as you go through. And as you're coming out of this chamber back into the living quarters, Ronan is approaching with about 12 or 11 small children and that are heading into this space as well. Back in the dormitory, Kiv. You're standing in front of the door, looking at your younger self. Anything that you do here before you join Ronan?
I just probably give him a little prayer of good luck, and head back out to join the others.
Make a religion check for me, please.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of, maybe I'll send a prayer up to our new friend, Bahamut, and ask him to look over the little guy. Or you know what, not Bahamut. I'll send a prayer to
Tyr.
Just straight religion?
Yep. With advantage, because you identified a deity that you're praying to.
Nice.
Yeah. Tyr kind of struck a chord with Kib there and there.
Mm-hmm.
Chord would be jealous.
A 12.
A 12. So the thing about religion, it's very interesting. As they say, faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. A 12 is just enough. As this prayer kind of escapes from you, a calmness spreads across the sleeping Kiv. But you feel for just a moment, not a burning sensation, but a warmth on the back of your hand. And when you turn it over and look, you see a rune appear kind of like moonlight on your hand. And then a tracing of very unique, intricate tattooing on your left arm, which is not the arm that is tattooed from shoulder to wrist, begins to appear, but it only shows up in the light as Tyr hears the prayer and blesses. And just for a moment, before you leave this chamber, you see on younger Kiv, the same glinting light appears there as well. From this point forward, because Tyr is a god of war and you have earned his favor, you have a +1 on all attack rolls.
Nice.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Tyr.
All right. But you...
That's worth a childhood of trauma.
Trigger warning for this episode. So you all head out and follow Ronan with the children, and you all arrive back in the main living quarters. Ronan, you guys have about 5 minutes remaining. There is nothing in this chamber that can guide you, but if Sarah G and Danny inform you what was beyond, there's a master server room that you could explore to find a full map of the complex.
We're going there.
Okay, so Ronan, you go through into the administrative wing. You see the blown up server rooms in the lab space. You see just a soot stains coming out of one of the chambers further down the hallway. But to your left, you see the master security chamber, and you can go in there and access all of the maps of the rooms. I just need a quick Arcana check from you.
Arcana.
Arcana's stepping in as our technomancer. Yeah.
Do you need a hand? Do you want me to do it?
That would be fantastic.
How good are you with computers like this?
I'm not the best.
Then move over. I'm going to do it.
All right. And
you see, Danny.
Yeah, yet again.
The password is swordfish.
Oh, God.
It's always swordfish.
You see Danny again goes full techie, rolls a 26. He's he goes on the keyboard like the anime hacker.
Yeah.
Stand aside, Grandpa.
Yeah. All right. So Danny, immediately a holographic representation of this this science space appears for you. And Kiv was never quite aware of where he was located. It always felt like, he's probably deep underground or something like that. He was transported here in darkness. He arrived in darkness. He can't tell you much about where he was. And part of the reason why that must be is that you're on a space station that's orbiting the planet of Terminus. And what you can identify here is the escape pod locations.
Absolutely. Sick.
Okay, so you identify them. So with the successful security rolls, with the careful destruction of security maneuvers, moving quickly through and successful rolls, you all can make your way to the escape pods without encountering the security, because most of the security in this space is automated. This is a bunch of scientists. They don't want to be bothered by a bunch of muscle roving around. So there's a lot of automated security systems here, but there is a security space on the far end of the installation, and you can tell that they're moving in this direction. So what I will need is, this is going to be a group skill check. You can decide what skill you want to use to help get the group to the escape pod on time. You need to be able to kind of explain to me how that skill is affecting this, and then I'll tell you whether you have advantage on the roll or not, or disadvantage on the roll. And what we need to do as a group is beat a 40 to make it without any complications at all. If we can make a 35, there'll be a slight complication. 30 would be a worse complication. So we'll start with Sarah. What skill would you use to try to get the group to the escape pod?
Medicine. Because you said this is automated system, so there's going to be biometrics and swipe cards, because with a little bit of thieving, because we successfully got it through before. So, and also the other side of it is to get the group moving quickly, because they were a bit groggy. So being able to maybe hit somebody with a stem from her medical bag.
Here's some candy.
Here's some candy. Here's some candy. You feel better.
So kind of a keeping everybody moving and marshaled, and if anybody starts to panic, talking them down because of being the doctor, the EMT of, I'm dealing with panicked people in shock, using that to keep the crowd moving as fast as possible so there's no stragglers. There'll be time for questions later. It's okay. Kiv is leading you. Trust us. The bad doctor is now a grease stain.
All right, fantastic.
Don't say that to them.
Go ahead and make a medicine check there, Sarah.
I rolled an 8 plus 12, so that's 20.
20, nice. Fantastic. Danny, what?
Excuse me, that's plus 14, so that's 22.
22. Danny, what skill would you use to support the move towards the escape pods?
So could I use my deception to try to lay some false us turning down certain corners to kind of throw them off our track?
Okay. That would normally be a survival check, but I'll allow you to use deception with it just with disadvantage.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably better than doing it the other way, honestly. I rolled the exact same thing, which puts us at a 33, Josh. 30. I rolled 2 19s. Why could Jerry never roll like this? Why is this shitty man so good at rolling?
Okay.
Anyway.
Good. Ronan, what are you contributing to the escape?
I am going to roll stealth. So
Okay.
I am going to be I'm going to be at the front and keeping an eye out, making people wait before just blundering through an intersection and maybe being caught. And also timing our arrival to still be outside the cone of the security camera, because I don't know if they might have caught on to that by now.
Right. And you wouldn't, the ones closest to the escape pods, you wouldn't be able to shut down anyway. So
Right.
keeping mind of where those are is very useful. So go ahead and roll your stealth check.
23.
23. And finally, Kiv, what are you doing to support the removal of these 11 children that you probably didn't know incredibly well, but were familiar enough with in your time here?
Can I do an athletics check? So as far as making sure there are any stragglers, picking them up, putting them back on their feet, keeping the pace of the group, at a steady pace to where we can all keep up and get to these different, waypoints or what have you in a timely and sort of orderly fashion.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Okay. Uh, 20.
20. So blowing, I didn't set the DC high enough anyway. Blowing the DC out of the water. You all carefully make your way through the space station. Highly motivated. And you arrive at the escape pods. There are 6 escape pods here. You would only need 2 of them for all of the children and yourselves, if you kind of split in to get them to where they need to go. The question is that once these arrive on land, how are they going to get from there?
Danny, I know it's 20 years early, but with your, web contacts, is there a way you could flag the corporation? I mean, the whoever we work for. Can flag, get a message to the agency to have them come do a pickup?
Let me see if I can make some calls.
Okay. Danny, go ahead and make a Arcana check.
I knew it had to be.
You're patching into the comm servers here on the space station.
This is old tech. I got a 12.
A 12. So you are
Did you
able...
dial 9 to get onto the international line?
What is this shit?
Got to dial 1!
All right. So you're able to patch into the system and you send out what you hope is a code. But with a 12, you weren't able to maneuver the system enough for it to be a two-way communication. So you're sending it out into the ether and hoping that the right people are intercepting that code.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it's out there.
All right.
I'm going to start. Can I try to wire them some funds on a little credit card too?
Sure. Yeah.
Can I commit some fraud here?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and make another Arcana check. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will help.
Oh,
having
thanks.
friend in low places and having to launder
Sure.
money with my lab.
With help, I get a 22 to wire them some.
Okay. So you like, in addition to sending out this message for the agency, you set up bank accounts for all 11 of the children, and you funnel money into them from where that money is being pulled from whence. This is a now defunct corporation. That owns this space station. And so you are stealing money from a corporation and plugging it into bank accounts that will gain interest over time. But this corporation is going to go under eventually anyway. But you do that.
Daddy sets one up for themselves, don't they?
No, I already did that a long time ago.
All right. But the children are divided up and you all get into escape pods.
I just invest in Bitcoin. That's it. That's the only thing I'm doing this early.
And all it takes is pushing the button to launch the escape pod.
All right, Kiv. Like, pat him.
So do the honors. Send the.
No, it should
send
be
the
you.
key.
It should be you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll step up and give the kids a little wave.
You're on the escape
And
pod with
then-
some of them. Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were sending them in a separate one.
So the escape pods sit about 6 or 7 people. So 7 of the children can be in one, and then the others, along with you guys, can be in the other one.
So wait, there's
Okay.
6 total on the station.
6 escape pods. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna eject the spares too.
Okay.
Well,
So
except maybe one, because Kiv needs to survive. Baby
Oh,
Kiv
that's
needs
right.
to
Okay, I'll leave
survive.
one.
so you eject 3 escape pods, leave one behind, and then you
That's
guys
good.
are
I
the
mean,
other
can we
2.
eject the 4 and kind of send them in random directions too, so they don't know where we went?
Sure. Yeah.
That's smart. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Smart. This character's smarter than me. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
He is literally smarter than me. It's true.
But Kiv, you can press the button.
All right. Press the button and send us off.
Okay. You hit the button. There's a sound of kind of an alarm begins to blare as the escape pods are all being launched. The doors close. Red lights are flashing. There's a hissing sound as the escape pod launches away from the space station. Now you can kind of see it. It's this large circular structure that's floating above Terminus, the bluish green marble below you. And as the escape pod turns to face down towards Terminus and the thrusters engage to take you into orbit, all of your vision goes dark for a moment and then goes light, and you find yourselves back in Bahamut's chamber temple in Celestia, and the large dragon kind of looks down at each of you, and you check yourselves and you're all back to your human or your adult sizes, and he says, beautiful thing when a ripple of justice faces out through time. You had to make quite an interesting choice there, Kiv, did you not?
I did, but I appreciate the opportunity. I think it was the right choice.
Why didn't you decide to save yourself?
I think I can do more good, even with the trauma that I experienced. I'm better off this way. And strangely enough, I have a bank account with a lot of money in it.
The alert
I
comes over
set
your
one
phone.
up for all the kids, okay?
That's true, you did. And then he kind of leans back for a moment. And as you all are standing there, the 4th quarter of the chamber, the 2 skeletal dragons that are there begin to change, and you hear the clinking of dropping platinum coins as the mound grows. And now you find yourselves standing in a temple filled from end to end with mounds of platinum and gemstones and magical items. It is the most glorious dragon horde in existence, and Bahamut curling atop it. You can see the energy rising through him from the horde, and he kind of looks down. Quite an interesting thing for justice to be done. It's been 500 years since someone did it in my name. Kiv, what item do you possess that you think would be the tether that you need to return home?
Would it be my sword? Maybe the great sword that I use?
Your crystal laser sword?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So you kind of hold that out to him, and this breath flies from him to you, and you feel yourself encircled by it for a moment. And you sense an energy in the sword latch, and it's almost like a key finding a hole. And Kiv is now tethered.
Yay.
Whoa.
Sweet.
This is a pretty great feeling.
Well, I'm not sure where your journey will take you from here. I only have enough strength to do this for one. But there are others like me that can do it for the rest of you.
So does this mean I can still follow my companions
As long as you choose
while
to.
they fight it?
You may follow them as long as the journey takes you on. In the end, you will need to go to the outer limits. From there, you should be able to cross over. I'm still not clear on what the outer limits are, just that they are important. But as more energy like this comes, perhaps someone that you encounter along your journey will be able to point you in the right direction. Is there anything I can do for the four of you before it goes from here?
I just want to say thank you.
Yes.
You are welcome. You each had some injustice in your life to correct. The one you chose was a sacrifice for each of you. And isn't that what justice is? He exhales for a moment, and the platinum breath kind of pours out. And just as he's about to say something else, you feel your vision begin to shift. Your skin begins to go transparent. You recognize this as the being pulled to somewhere else. I don't know who rolled. I don't know who rolled the d12 last time, but somebody roll a d12 for me, please.
That was
I'll
Ace
roll
last
it.
time.
Other husband, roll it.
Mm-hmm.
Go forth, other husband.
A 3.
A 3. Okay. All right.
Average.
I don't like the sound of that.
All right. So as the kind of pull goes, Kiv, there's a moment where you see your three friends are being pulled away, and Bahamut is kind of looking at you, and he says, "You have to actively choose to go with them now. The choice is up to you, of course."
Absolutely. I'm not going to leave them without their muscle.
And you feel the tether grab you and tear you along with your friends as time and space bends around each of you. And your vision is a blur of colors and lights, 1,000 galaxies spanning past you. And then suddenly you feel yourself planted on the ground, and there's an immediate smell of dust and something irony, and the clanging of metal, the warmth and heat of a distant sun or something. And when you look up, spinning through the sky around you, you see far distant cubes of land. There are trees and rivers coursing on the sides of these cubes, and you realize that you're standing on one of them, these massive structures, and you're on a cliff that's overlooking a valley before you, and the clanging sounds rising up from the valley. When you look down, the valley is probably the size of a 30 or 40 mile wide volcanic crater. And the entire thing has been turned into an arena. There are like Colosseum style arena. And what you can see happening down below you is armies of people clashing within the arena system, and crowds of individuals from all planes of existence in the stands cheering and raging. And you can tell that there are 4 kind of zones, like home teams, based on colors and banners around this arena that you can see spread out for 20 miles around you in the distance. And atop each of these 4 towers at 4 points on the arena, there are banners flying in the wind, but these are massive, mile-wide banners that proclaim symbolism of some god or deity. All of you can make religion checks to see if you can identify which gods are here or what plane of existence you're on. You can tell me which one you want.
Oh, I'm a little bit nervous about this one.
5, so I ain't got
You got nothing.
any clue.
I can beat that a 4. So
Nothing.
I rolled a 12 to know what plane of existence I'm on.
Okay. And you can roll history if you want to do that instead, Ronan.
Okay.
I got 16 for gods here.
Okay. So you pick up on 2 of the gods present. And you recognize them as, like, both of them are gods of war and conflict. One seems a little out of place because you were told the 12 Olympians were all on Celestia, like fiending for prayers. One is a god of vengeful conflict in the form of Ares. Mm-hmm. And the other is a more just and orderly god of conflict and war named Cord, also known as the Storm Lord.
I rolled a 12.
For the plane of existence, it's difficult to tell because the legends and stories that you've read about the planes are based on 500-year-old information. The arena doesn't make any sense. The giant jumbotrons displaying what's happening on the battlefields to the people don't make any sense. None of that makes sense to this plane. It's these squared off lands floating all around you, where you've heard that endless conflicts are always occurring on this plane of existence. Welcome, agency members, to the realm of conflict and war, Acheron.
Ooh. I like this better already.
And that is where we'll pick up next week.
Rob, you get why that's like so ironically tied to the character I made.
Yes.
So you guys went from Celestia to Acheron. So yeah.
What did I say I was going to tell y'all about after?
Something that is, I forget what the
lead was. It was a line from a movie or something that just was funny in context, but I can't remember what it was. That
I do remember you saying, "Remind me to tell you all about it."
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
I don't remember what
unfortunately.
It
was. Yeah. Well, I'll just Josh watch the replay and
figure out what it reminds you.
I feel
like
in like an hour you're going to be like typing in all caps in the chat.
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
That's what I would do in the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there was some movie reference or something that was tied to that, so I can't remember.
Yeah. Purely because this is a one shot and we don't have 17 sessions to figure things out where we normally would.
Oh, I forgot I have the cat.
You guys have a cat. And I will I'll give you the stats for the cat so you can run the cat, Mr. Bigglesworth.
I offer to Kiv as long as that's not like a weird thing to own
Yeah.
this cat.
So you guys are on Acheron. Acheron is often called the world of battle or the battle world. There's endless conflicts and warfare happening here. However, in the time since the Terminus has happened, it's now transformed over to like a Colosseum type arena where they're broadcasting those battles out to the plains as a way to keep the worship and prayer of these gods of war alive. So the four gods that are present here are Maglubiet, who's the
goblin
the
god.
goblin god and god of war, Grumpsh, who's the orc god of war, god,
Amazing.
Ares and Cord. So you guys will be able to interact with them. It will be a battle episode.
Yay.
So if you want to familiarize yourself with your attacks and things like that, if you whenever you change realms, you get the effects of a long rest. So you can take a long rest, and if you need to, if you're a person who gets to choose their spells each day, you can choose your new spells for upcoming battle. But
this character
not to ruin. How do you get tethered here in this space? I can assume that you might be able to imagine how. But this is like the grand tournament episode of Starstruck. So
I might have some surprises built into this character, so I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
And roll, Ace.
Oh, yeah. I know. Nice. Yeah.
This is a 9th level bard, 6th level warlock, and I built this.
Nice.
This build is very good. Like, I took all of my knowledge from learning how to build jury and put it into this, and this is a gorgeous build. I'll have to show it to y'all after. Also, charisma, not my highest stat, so.
I think it's hysterical that the cleric has the religion bonus of +2 because it's int-based, and religion should be wisdom tied or something.
That's something that's always bothered me about religion, but yeah.
But on the other hand, it's considering that it's Hippocrates in a world that doesn't really have gods. It also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
you had to learn it in a book. You didn't know what it was.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the god of science.
Yeah, this is a gorgeous character, and I haven't even done a lot of my warlock stuff yet. I've mostly been doing bard stuff, so very excited for you to see some of that. It's very nice.
And since you guys are getting a sense of how I'm bringing in backstory stuff, if each of you could just in the next couple of days, send me a moment, because this is a realm of conflict. So last realm was seeking justice. So I asked you to all think about a moment where justice was important or where you could bring justice to your past. In this case, if you'll send me a moment where because I'm kind of thinking I know what I think Ronins should be for this world where conflict between different forces is an important component of the story. But if you can think about a moment in Sarah and Danny's life where conflict was important in your backstories, because that depending on how we do that, that'll determine who in this space we focus in for the tether piece.
Sure.
I can. Off the top of my head, say at the orphanage, the fight for resources.
Perfect, yeah.
Because we're underfed. So, and like I said, Sarah, that's one of the reasons I've played her is super lean, and I like the artwork that you did is because she was somewhat malnourished.
Yep.
So that competition for food, and that's where some of her knowing people in low places, because you had to be quick with your hands to get the bread, and you had to make alliances with unsavory characters because they could watch out. There's protection in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You have to pay your fee for it, but your house doesn't burn down and you're protected. So
just if anybody's looking for a message for the Terminus campaign, it is that in a capitalist hellscape, children suffer.
That's very true. I also think I loved that I was Danny was I fuck with you. We're gonna go kill that guy. No way I'm leaving that fucking. There's 4 of us. Yeah. I was no.